Hello and welcome to New Central Television. I am Likon Onobanjo. The top stories at this hour. United States District Court orders release of findings on President Tinubu's involvement in a drug and money laundering case. Christians reenact Christ's triumphal entry as they celebrate Palm Sunday across the world. Junta Chief Bryce Oligui leads with a wide margin in ongoing presidential race. Details to come your way shortly. We begin the news with details about the United States, where a district court for the District of Columbia has ordered top U.S. law enforcement agency to release confidential information generated on President Bola Tinubu during a purported federal investigation in the 90s. The Judge Beryl Howell, who gave the order, noted that protecting the information from public disclosure is neither logical nor plausible. An American, Aaron Greenspan, had filed a suit in June 2023 under the Freedom of Information Act against the Executive Office for U.S. Attorneys, Department of State, Federal Bureau of Investigation, Internal Revenue Service, Drug Enforcement Administration, and the Central Intelligence Agency. Greenspan accused the law enforcement agencies of violating the FOIA by failing to release within the statutory time documents relating to purported federal investigations into President Tinubu and one Abiodun Agbele. Aaron Greenspan had filed 12 FOIA requests to 6 different U.S. government agencies between 2022 and 2023, seeking information about a joint investigation conducted by the FBI, IRS, DEA, and the U.S. Attorney's offices for the Northern District of Indiana and Northern District of Illinois. Unfortunately, his requests received what he called Glomar responses, refusing to confirm or deny whether the requested records exist. Away from that, as Christians around the world mark Palm Sunday, the beginning of Holy Week, the Christian Association of Nigeria has called for peace and unity in the country, extending warm greetings to all the faithful and people of goodwill across the nation on Palm Sunday. Khan said that the sacred occasion invites citizens to reflect deeply on the life and mission of Jesus Christ, whose message of peace, humility, and sacrificial love remains as urgent today as it was over 2,000 years ago. This was contained in a statement released by the Christian body on Sunday and signed by its president, Archbishop Daniel Oko. The umbrella body for Christians in Nigeria also strongly condemned the recent wave of brutal killings in Plateau State, particularly the April 4, 2025 attacks that claimed dozens of innocent lives in Bokos and Mangu local government areas. It added that the acts of violence represent not only a gross violation of human dignity and the sanctity of life, but also a serious threat to the nation, its unity and peace. Now, at the capital of Nigeria, Abuja, Christian faithful joined their counterparts across the globe to mark Palm Sunday, which signals the commencement of the Holy Week in Christian calendar. At the Celestial Church of Christ Central Cathedral, worshippers gathered in celebration, singing joyful hymns and participating in a symbolic procession holding palm fronds, reenacting Jesus Christ's triumphant entry into Jerusalem. The atmosphere was one of reverence and festivity as families, children, and elders came together to reflect on the significance of the season. Church leaders urged believers to embrace humility, peace, and sacrifice as they prepare for Good Friday and Easter Sunday. Palm Sunday holds deep meaning for Christians, symbolizing both celebration and the beginning of Christ's journey to the cross.
Central Cathedral, live in the Federal Capital Territory. Earlier on, you could see from the pictures there was a procession here. It was magnificent and joyful, as well as spiritual. Both old and young, teenagers all joined in the procession to mark this year's Palm Sunday. It held a magnificent significance among Christians in the Federal Capital Capital Territory. It was like a reenactment of the biblical moment of the triumphant entry of Jesus Christ into Jerusalem. And Lord, they are capitalizing on the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ on the cross of Calvary. So clergies and clerics today preach that same message to worshippers across several churches in the Federal Capital Territory, particularly Central Cathedral, where I am currently. And the message of hope is being preached over and over again to adapt and take after the characters that are Christ-like. We're expecting to enter the Passion Week. This will be characterized by a series of services, night vigils across several churches, lessons, and as well as special services to commemorate the Passion Week. And by Friday, we are expecting to mark the Good Friday as well as the Good Sunday.
Well, staying on Palm Sunday, the celebration actually, the Catholic Bishop of Umuahia Diocese, Most Reverend Michael Upong, is encouraging Christians to borrow a leaf from the life of Christ, who willingly marched into his own death. He says the palm is also a reminder of the greatness of Christ, which symbolizes sacredness. Some faithful also spoke about the day.
Today is the beginning of the journey for our redemption. Christ started the mission for which he came to the world today. He was conscious that going to Jerusalem, he was going to be arrested, he's going to suffer, to die, and then to resurrect. So he went there consciously. So it's important for us that we do not always run away from difficulties, run away from suffering. At times the suffering is for our own good, if not our own good, for the future generation. So we have to make that sacrifice. So we should learn from Jesus that consciously he went to meet his death for the salvation of the world. That is why today is important. The Jews were carrying leaves of trees they found around, they call it palm, and throwing out on the way of Jesus.
And now in Asaba, Delta State, the capital, of course, south of Nigeria, Christians attended church services where palm branches are blessed and distributed, symbolizing the branches waved by the crowd to greet Jesus. New Central correspondent Osanazu, who joined the Christian procession, now reports.
Christian faithful are on the streets of Asaba and major roads demonstrating the entrance of Jesus into Jerusalem, carrying palm fronds, waving it and singing Hosanna in the highest, depicting the entrance of Jesus into Jerusalem. And what does this symbolizes to Nigeria Christians and Christians all over the world, including Nigerian leaders?
For we Christians, it's a day of rejoicing. It's a day that Jesus triumphed over evil. It symbolizes Jesus' triumph over sin and death, even right now in our lives.
Our message today is on emulating the humility and simplicity of Christ. Though he is God, but he never arrogates power to himself. He humbly took the form of a servant and made it clear to us that no matter what or whoever we are, we should humbly identify with the humility of Christ and live for him.
Because Jesus Christ has this as a symbol of his supremacy, the symbol of his being the king of the world after his resurrection, we too who are Christians must also know that this is a mark that we will not end in life, in the death. We're also going to rise with him and continue.
As much as possible, be practical Christians so that we can together conquer the reigns of the evil ones. Now, Jesus Christ has been recognized as the King of Kings, the Savior of the world. And a day like this, over 2,000 years ago, he was welcomed into Jerusalem.
The Palm Sunday begins the Holy Week, the betrayal of Jesus, the trial, the crucifixion, and resurrection from the dead on Easter Sunday. In Asaba, for News Central, Austin Azu.
Now we're from that to politics now. Delta State on Saturday recorded a major political shift as Chiedu Ibie, board chairman of the Niger Delta Development Commission, led thousands of members of the Delta Unity Group of the PDP in Ika Federal Constituency into the All Progressives Congress at a reception for the Dikampis in Agbo. APC National Chairman Abdullahi Ganduje, flanked by Edo State Governor Monday Okpewolo, described the move as very strategic towards taking over power in Delta State. New Central's correspondent Austin Azwe again tells us more.
The national chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, is in Agbo, Delta State, accompanied by the governor of Edo State, Monday Okpewolo, for a strategic political engagement. The first point of call is the palace of the Dane of Agbo for a courtesy visit.
Please carry back to the president the simple message: we need peace. We're all brothers and sisters in this country. We're all affiliated one way or another. If Mr. President fails, we all fail. The success of the president is the success of the nation. Please understand this. Whether you are PDP, whether you are APC, whether you are another party, the commander-in-chief is the commander-in-chief.
However, attention shifted to the rally ground, where thousands of members, Delta Unity Group of the PDP in Ika Federal Constituency, are set to dump the party for the APC.
Today is the liberation of the Ika people. Particularly the Agbo people, who have been in bondage for over 2 decades.
In their separate goodwill messages, Edo State Governor Monday Okpewolo, member representing Ifiop Federal Constituency and Chairman, House Committee NDDC Erata Keboris Swenu, among other APC members in the state, said the party is working in unity to take over power in the state.
2027, it is our time to shine. It is happening here. It has happened in Edo. As we speak today, about 60% of the membership of PDP in Delta State, they have poured into APC, and that number is increasing.
The national chairman of APC welcomed the defectors and declared that the party is poised to capture all Nigeria states by 2027.
What we require now is unity. Unity in purpose. And unity in order to win this election, so that you provide good governance to the people of Delta State.
A major highlight of the event was the presentation of 2 operational vehicle skis to the 2 local government areas in Ika Federal Constituency, facilitated by Chiedu Ibie, to aid the movement of political actors within and outside the constituency. In Agbo, for News Central, Austin Azu.
Still talking politics, the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, has explained why he believes he deserves the Vanguard Infrastructure Governor of the Year award, which he recently received. While speaking to journalists in Lagos after receiving the award, Governor Uzodinma touched on the achievements of his government in infrastructure and revenue generation. He also responded to questions about insecurity and state policing.
The National Economic Council at our last meeting had already taken position on state police, and the government has 6 states who have all signed including Imo City for the creation of state police. But you need to be taken to National Assembly for legislation. I believe that state police is necessary because in Nigeria, the landmass of the country, the population of the country, it can micromanage management of security. You have to decentralize security. So that our own political advantages can have a space in the system. So,
Governor Uzodinma also responded to questions on local government autonomy, amongst others.
Of course, you know this is why I came because of insecurity, so-called insecurity, and what happened with Imo State of Imo. I deliberated the caretaker authority. They got to the point it became necessary that we must now democratize the government. And we conducted a very transparent and very good and free, one of the freest world elections. We have customers and everything. So the global government system is running very possible. We don't have problems with our local government authority in terms of revenue, in terms of administration, in terms of anything. The only thing which are even made goal is that because we automated our payroll system, the local government primary healthcare staffs, some local government are most important to form the primary health centers and local.
We now go on a break on the news. When we return, coalition urges probe into misconduct allegations against the Nigerian army by a retired major in Katsina State. We'll tell you more when we're back, to stay with us. Hello, good evening. Can you hear me, sir?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can, Mr. Jamil. How are you doing?
I'm fine, I'm fine.
Okay, so we'll come to you very soon.
All right, the lighting, the sound is okay.
Fantastic.
Okay, all right.
And thanks for staying with us. Now, the call for restructuring Nigeria's political and governance systems is once again gaining momentum, with prominent leaders, civil society groups and political analysts urging the government to adopt a more sustainable and inclusive approach to national development. At the heart of the restructuring debate is the belief that Nigeria's current federal system has become overly centralized, hindering regional autonomy, stifling economic growth and deepening ethnic tensions. News Central's Israel Ferobo completes the story.
The need to restructure Nigeria is an old debate that has been on the front burner for a very long time, with many for and against it. The issue, many say, is at the foundation of the country's lack of all-round development in all regions of the country. From infrastructure, health, education, the grievances are the same. Many believe restructuring is the answer.
Each state, each department should develop according to their own pace, using their own resources, and then sharing a few common resources. And I believe that that really is the basis on which Nigeria was founded. That basis cannot be eroded. That basis must be gone back to, and that basis must be pushed forward. That is why we came together and agreed to come together as a nation.
Each person has independence to enter his own apartment when he wants. Nigeria is like an open dormitory.
Former President Olusegun Obasanjo says that restructuring should not be misconstrued as a threat to national unity.
I think the first thing we must understand is this: restructuring is not refusing to talk to ourselves. How can we continue the way we are, where the only thing that ever gets done is that the rulers are kept in style and the ruled are continually ruined? The people who are afraid of restructuring are simply people who are afraid to work hard and who are afraid to think and who are afraid to generate resource. Singapore has no resource. It's one of the greatest economies of the world because the greatest resource is the resource of the mind.
Civil society leaders say the issue is no longer just political. It's about everyday survival for ordinary Nigerians. Political analysts believe the window for reform is narrowing. With mounting insecurity, unemployment, and a growing sense of disenfranchisement among the youth, the urgency for action is more critical than ever.
What any one of us can do at any point in time is to place proposals on the table for the consideration of the collective. The one thing that is not in short supply are good ideas. What has been in short supply is the humility by those who have ruined Nigeria to admit to the fact that they've run out of ideas.
Wherever we find ourselves, let us be the best. Let us work as if we're doing our own things. Let us not lose hope. Nigeria will definitely be a better place.
We are not united. I mean, look, Igbos are different, Yorubas are different, Fulanis are different, Hausas are different. We should just agree to live as good neighbors.
As the 2027 elections approach, Nigerians are watching closely to see whether restructuring will finally move from campaign rhetoric to concrete policy. Restructuring is not about breaking Nigeria apart. It's about making it function even better for every citizen, regardless of tribe or region. In Lagos, for News Central, Israel Ifirobo.
Away from that now, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency has arrested a Malaysian returnee and ex-convict, Ndubuisi Udatu, for smuggling methamphetamine concealed in giant speakers. The 41-year-old suspect was caught on April 7 at an NDLEA checkpoint near Yola, Adamawa State, with 2.7 kilograms of meth and 22,300 naira in cash. Udatu admitted returning to Nigeria to resume drug trafficking after serving time in Malaysia. In a separate operation, NDLEA and customs officers intercepted 395 kilograms of opioids at the Nigeria-Cameroon border. Additional arrests were made in Kano, Abuja, and Niger states, where large quantities of tramadol and cannabis were seized. NDLEA says these seizures reflect its ongoing crackdown on drug trafficking networks nationwide. Now, a coalition led by Abdurrahman Abdullahi and Kabir Yandaki has called on President Bola Tinubu, the National Security Advisor, Governor Diko Rada, and lawmakers to launch an urgent, transparent investigation. This is following the growing public outcry on a viral video by retired military officer Major Ahmed Lawal Ibrahim, who raised serious allegations about military operations in the Ndume local government in Katsina State. The video, which has sparked alarm amid ongoing kidnappings and banditry, demands immediate scrutiny to restore public trust. The coalition urges an independent panel, public transparency, reforms if necessary, and protection for whistleblowers. With security under intense pressure, the group insists these allegations must not be ignored, warning of further erosion of confidence in the nation's defense institutions. Now, for more on this, I'm joined by our correspondent in Katsina State, Jamil Mabai. Jamil, thank you so much for coming around to help us understand this situation better.
Thank you for having me.
So first, let's have an understanding of the allegations leveled against the Nigerian army.
Okay, these allegations or alleged allegations are heavy allegations when you look at them. First, he says that the Nigerian army, whenever one of the community members gets kidnapped when they're going to pay for ransom, they have to pay money to security agencies before they escort them to pay that money. And also, he made allegations that security personnel or the army usually escort or direct or back the bandits towards their farm, especially when it's harvesting time. So they just go to their farms and devour their farm produce. And thirdly, he made mention of at a point in time they arrested an informant and they handed him over to the military. And that informant said they caught him with ammunition, and he said the ammunition was given by him by one private Jeremiah from Birengwari, Kaduna, that he should take it to the bandits, and they caught him. So they handed him over to the captain in charge, Captain Rabi, who's in charge of that axis. And after 11 days, the captain released the informant. And then thirdly, he also said there was a time, a soldier was immediately, a community was attacked. The direction with which the bandits went into the forest, they saw a soldier alone coming out from that direction. They arrested him and they also handed him over to the military, and nothing was done. And also the last allegation was a particular horse whom they saw, and they handed the horse to the police. And one soldier again came all the way from Kaduna, like the major says, and he demanded that the horse be released to him, that it belongs to one bandit, and the bandit says he should come and secure his horse. So these are the allegations he has made, and ever since he made the allegation, he says that the military, they've been sending threats upon threats, that he should withdraw all these allegations. So this is just an overview of the allegations, and News Central, we're currently working on that particular report to verify whether these allegations are true or not. But this is not the first time community members are blaming the military for abating banditry activities. And but this time around, why is it of a major issue of concern? The said Major Lowell in question was a retired major, from the Nigerian army, and I even before he joined the Community Watch Corps, he has been contributing in trying to train local vigilante within his axis. So with the new government, with the new governor now creating the Community Watch Corps in fighting banditry, he was appointed as the local government commandant of that area. So for him to have these conversations with journalists, the sheer evidence, he has, it's something alarming. And, this time around, experts and people are hoping that the government will take these allegations seriously, and something should be done about this.
So I'd like to just find out, any idea how long this has been ongoing, and have you had any interaction with the residents, probably to corroborate this story, and maybe a reaction from the army?
These allegations, they've been happening all along, but it's just that it has never come from someone from position of influence and insider like the major now. But usually we hear accusations like this from civilians and community members, and but this time around is coming from somebody who has been in the system, who's still in the system, and who's at the front line fighting the banditry. So this is why this time around is something different.
All right, Jamil, this is a developing story. I want to believe that you are going to, of course, speak with the probably command in that area to help us understand what the situation is, and definitely we'll come back to you to get
we're
more
working on that. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you too for sharing this with us, Jamil Mabai. Away from security stories now, let's talk agriculture. The Adija-Jemad River Basin Development Authority in Kano State says that it will optimize irrigation farming and increase the number of hectares of land being farmed in 2025 from 54,000 hectares of farmland to 240,000 hectares. The newly appointed managing director of the River Basin Authority, Rabiu Bichi, while assuming office following his appointment by President Bola Tinubu, says that the authority will aim to increase paddy rice production from 216,000 metric tons to 1 million tons in the 3 states of Kano, Jigawa and Bauchi. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu reports.
States of Kano, Jigawa and Bauchi, the Hadija-Jemad River Basin Development Authority has sought to support farmers, especially with the effects of climate change, mainly drought in the northwest and some parts of northeastern part of the country. This has become more necessary following the ongoing repair of the Oro Dam in Bichi local government area of Kano State.
The use of Kano, Jigawa and Bauchi, which is the primary area of the authority, are the future of our agricultural sector. By equipping them with knowledge and skills in modern irrigation, we are not only enhancing their employability, but also fostering innovation.
At this formal handover and assumption of office of the new head of the Hadija-Jemad River Basin Development Authority, Rabiu Bichi, the new chief executive outlined his roadmap to include improving water resource management by 20%.
What we are going to do now is to ensure that we increase the irrigable area to about 240,000 hectares in these areas of operation. It may take long, but we are going to start immediately. And secondly, we have a lot of water channels, rivers that have silted. We are going to intensify effort to desilt these rivers so that we can have smooth flow of water to the irrigable areas for farmers to easily access water for their farming purposes. That is both rainfed and irrigation. We are going to also to train our youth. When I say youth, I mean youth, male and female, to embrace agriculture, modern agricultural practices. That is hydroponics, fodder cultivation, center pivot irrigation, drip irrigation, and every home a garden project.
While Kano, Jigawa, Bauchi states have been grappling with the challenges of drought, Bichi assured that the new management of the River Basin Development Authority will tackle this issue headlong. In Kano for News Central, Emmanuel Bagudu.
You're watching News Central now. We go on a very short break, and when we return, we'll tell you about Rivers piracy attacks and, of course, other stories. Do stay with us. We'll be back in a bit. Now, sea piracy and kidnappings along River State waterways have become an issue of great concern to many residents. The latest incident was the hijack of a 6-passenger boat along the Port Harcourt sea route, which has caused undue pain to many families. News Central's correspondent Biola Festus has been tracking some of the affected persons and brings us this report.
Sorry, Selling.
Baby Selin, just 1 year and 4 days old, is restless and unaware of the turmoil surrounding her. Our father, a victim of sea piracy, was kidnapped a day before our first birthday, leaving our family in distress.
That is going to come back.
Sophia, her mother, has been comfortless herself. The whereabouts of her newlywed husband has been unknown for days. Overwhelmed by emotion, Sophia tells me that she has no idea how to cope with her schooling and caring for her toddler all by herself.
I'm just a young girl. We just got married on Vincent, and it just...
The boat operator who was conveying Sophia's husband and 5 other passengers from Agbele to Port Harcourt narrates how the incident unfolded.
I was coming from Agbele down to Port Harcourt. So after when I crossed the New Calabar River, I saw 200 horsepower with armed personnel. They now divert our boat back to the creek where they came out from. They started collecting our phones and our money, all our belongings, then started beating some of us. One elderly woman asked one of the sea pirates that if I'm your mother, is that the way you are going to treat me? So they have that little conscience on her. So they didn't touch her, they didn't collect anything from her.
Agbele, the capital of Degema, an island local government area in Rivers State, has only one way in and one way out of the council. And sadly, the singular means of transportation, which is by sea, has become one of no return for many. The story of Sophia is a sad reality that many coastal communities have had to deal with for decades.
With our wealth, Nigeria is what it is today. But when come to us, we are suffering. Our waterways are not safe.
The insecurity situation is one too many, and it's worrisome. When you enter boat to go, there is that apprehension. You are always afraid. That is the level everybody is at now.
These wives, whose husbands were victims of the deteriorating security conditions across Nigeria, look through the windows every day, hoping for the return of their husbands. They call on the government and security operatives to ensure the release of their spouses from their captors.
I was calling his line. His number does not go. So the next thing I heard, they have carried them. Coming from Bile to Port Harcourt is no longer safe.
I don't get anybody, na him be my father, na him be everything to me. I no go fit carry am. I get plenty children with am. I no go fit carry. Mona waka anywhere I want go find I can't give me. Mona find I can't give me.
The uncertainty about the conditions of their husbands is even more troubling as they are yet to be contacted by the abductors.
Up till now, we've not heard from them. They did not even call, no information. Government, please help us. Owing to the security challenge on the waterways, these people now have to choose between risking their lives to travel home or remaining in the capital city, Port Harcourt.
My uncle is among those that were kidnapped, so it's not a funny thing. I'm supposed to travel today, but I cannot travel because when you're traveling to your community, you'll be looking at your left and right. You cannot even breathe. You cannot be okay because you're scared.
I want to travel, but because of the way the river is, I can't travel because of what is happening in the river.
For those involved in boat transportation, piracy and kidnapping on the waterways mean bad business for them.
I have lost one of my boats to the sea pirates, which cost me more than 6 million naira. Their operation is getting out of hand, and we want the federal government to do something about it.
Our passengers are no more safe, even the drivers and even on our boat. So as we are going, we only move with fear. We ask God to protect us down to Bile.
Although the state and local government authorities have at various occasions announced the provision of patrol boats on the waterways, those plying them say security is inadequate to guarantee safe travels.
Is it possible for us to go to Bile with you today?
If you want to go to Bile, there must be arrangements, because we cannot take responsibility of people that are just coming, strangers and visitors. So if we have to go to Bile, we have to make arrangements. We have to make arrangements for security.
The brutal truth is that locals in these coastal areas have no choice but to brave the dangers on the waterways, despite the risk of attacks and kidnappings. With no alternative routes or transportation options, they must rely on boats to travel to their destinations, making them vulnerable to the threats that come with it. In Port Harcourt for News Central, Biola Festus.
Now we look at other stories from Africa. War-torn Darfur region has seen another deadly escalation. Activists on Sunday report that paramilitary forces from the Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, killed 56 civilians in the town of Kadada over 2 days. The victims, allegedly targeted along ethnic lines, included the local hospital director. The RSF seized the town, located 180 kilometers east of El Fashad, just a day before the attacks. Communications have been cut and 14 residents remain missing. This comes as the RSF intensifies assault on El Fashad, the army's last stronghold in North Darfur. The United Nations has also reported over 100 feared dead in nearby camps amid growing concerns of famine and mass displacement across the region. Now, Gabon's junta leader, Brice Oligui Nguema, is reportedly leading by a wide margin in the country's presidential election, the first since he seized power in 2023 coup. State media on Sunday said Nguema was well ahead in several provinces, with some polling stations reporting 100% of votes in his favor. While official results are pending, voter turnout reached 87%, with many citizens hopeful for change. Calm has prevailed in the capital, Libreville, a stark contrast to past unrest. Nguema, who ousted the Bongo dynasty last year, pledged a return to civilian rule. Critics, however, question whether the former general has truly broken from the past. Final results are expected later today. Still ahead on the news. 32 people have been killed in Russian missile attack on Sumy. We'll tell you more when we're back. Join us again. From other continents, we tell you that at least 32 people, including 2 children, have been killed and 84 injured after Russian ballistic missiles struck the Ukrainian city of Sumy, according to authorities on Sunday. The twin Iskander missile attack hit near Imo State University, damaging 20 buildings, including schools, shops, homes, and trams. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky condemned the strike as a terrible assault on ordinary life and called for stronger international pressure on Russia. The attack, which took place on Palm Sunday, drew global outrage. Ukraine's foreign minister called it absolute evil, while European leaders echoed calls for a ceasefire. The strikes followed U.S.-Russia talks in St. Petersburg, though Russia has continued to reject a ceasefire after Ukraine accepted last month. Now, in sports, the highly anticipated debut of Fatima Bello at the ITTF World Cup has been postponed due to visa complications. Despite earning qualification after a top 4 finish at the ITTF Africa Cup, Bello was unable to obtain a visa from the Chinese embassy in Lagos. The table tennis star, currently based in Italy, held out hope for a late approval, but was ultimately replaced by Hong Kong's Zhengzhou Zhu. Bello was among 4 African women set to compete in the prestigious event. Unfortunately, Bello will now have to wait until next year to make her much-awaited debut at the ITTF World Cup in 2026. In the Premier League, Liverpool moved within reach of the title after a dramatic 2-1 victory over West Ham United, sealed by Virgil van Dijk's late header. With 6 games left, the Reds are 13 points clear of second-placed Arsenal and could clinch the title next weekend. Meanwhile, Tottenham's crisis deepened with a 4-2 loss at Wolves, leaving them 15th and heaping pressure on manager Ange Postecoglou. Wolves are now virtually safe, 14 points above the relegation zone. Ipswich, in the drop zone, drew 2-2 with Chelsea, who moved up to 5th. Manchester United lose 3-1 to Newcastle United. And out to La Liga, Sevilla have dismissed head coach Francisco Garcia Pimienta following a run of 4 consecutive La Liga defeats. The club confirmed on Sunday The latest setback, a 1-0 loss to Valencia, leaves Sevilla 13th in the league with just one win in the last 7 games. Garcia Pimienta, appointed earlier this season, also oversaw a derby loss to Real Betis in March. Reports in Spain suggest veteran manager Joaquin Caparros will step in as interim coach until the season's end, reprising the caretaker role he held in 2018 and 2019. Caparros previously led Sevilla from 2000 to 2005, guiding them back to La Liga and laying foundations for their later success. And that's all at this hour, but before we go, we look at our top stories again. We told you that the United States District Court has ordered release of findings on President Bola Tinubu's involvement in a drug and money laundering case. Christians reenact Christ's triumphal entry as they celebrate Palm Sunday across the world. We also told you that Junta Chief Bryce Oligui Glomar leads with wide margin in ongoing presidential race. Do send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. And you can follow us on social media. We are at News Central TV. Do watch us live on DSTV channel 422, GoTV channel 23, Star Times channel 274, including Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Likon Obanjo.